I'm going to talk with you about the importance of interviewer locating on PSID. PSID families are a special group. As you know, one or many of the members of our families have been in the study for over 50 years. Because these respondents are part of a longitudinal study, locating them is extremely important. You understand the PSID gene, and because of this gene, you know that replacing a respondent is not an option. For us, that means the work we do to locate them is just as important as getting an interview. Life happens, and as you might imagine, talking to us when we call is not necessarily a top priority. The fact is that we consider them lost because last wave's contact information is no longer valid. They do not feel lost. They know exactly where they are. They just don't realize that we are looking for them. In the 2 short years between interviews, you will discover that many families, about a quarter of them, have life-changing events which cause them to move from their previous address. The list of reasons for a move is almost endless. A new job, a retirement, a divorce, a remarriage. Maybe they lost their home and moved in with another family. Maybe they have not moved at all, but instead changed their phone number. Again, the reasons for a phone number change are varied. They gave up their landline. They got a new cell phone service provider. Whatever the reason, we are not able to reach them by conventional methods of simply calling the phone number from the previous wave. Because a fourth of the sample spends some time in locating states, staying on top of your lines is crucial. Keeping detailed notes of who you need to call and their relationship to the target person is the most effective way of locating the family or the target person. On PSID, we're extremely fortunate to have an abundant supply of resources in assisting us locate our missing families. But the process starts with you. We cannot stress enough how important it is to be proactive while working your sample. Other studies you may have worked on may not stress this in the same way, or perhaps they have a team of locators that simply take over the locating tasks for you. But that's not the case on PSID because the other families in your sample are your best resource. And because we need to do everything we can to keep our families happy, we do not want to have multiple interviewers calling them unless we have no choice. But not to worry, you will have help. On PSID, we have a specialized team of interviewers whose main responsibility is to help you locate your family or target person. All of our locators have PSID experience as interviewers, so they know what you go through when you're trying to find a respondent. Our locators do a lot of work behind the scenes, having access to information from past waves of data collection, as well as past ancillary studies, such as TAS and CDS. They will be monitoring your lines flagged for interviewer locating and may take over on lines flagged for team locating. Monitoring your lines means that they will be reading your contact attempt records and looking for details. So it's important to put anything relevant, even minor, in your contact attempts. For example, if an informant tells you they don't have contact with the target person, that is important information to the locating team. Once you get home and the dust settles a bit, we will be conducting a mandatory online training of all of the details and procedures surrounding PSID locating and how to succeed at locating. In the meantime, if you discover that one of your families is lost, don't worry. You are encouraged to call your team's assigned locator and talk through the situation. She may have suggestions for you even before we have completed the webinar training. The locating team's job is to assist you in locating and strategizing with you and your team leader on techniques to locate your families. You're encouraged to communicate with the locating team as needed. One of the things the locators will reinforce when they consult with you is how to figure out who the target person is. At first glance on any SID, the obvious target person is the respondent from the past wave. In a perfect world, the respondent would be the same person every time. But this is not always the case. Your target person may be the 2019 respondent, or perhaps your 29 respondent is deceased or was not followable and moved out. In that case, your target person has changed. Unlike some studies where you are trying to find a particular person, the respondent, on PSID, you are trying to locate the entire family, particularly the followable members of the family. Some families have a matriarch, a person who has been in the study for a long time and often helps us get in contact with several members of the 68 ID. Sometimes these matriarchs are motivated by locator tokens, and we'll cover that during the webinar. Other families may have one or two people who always seem to know how to contact everyone or who are well connected within the 68 ID. Your locator will work with you on strategies for identifying potential target persons. There's a common misconception that families who go missing, and especially those who we have a difficult time reaching, are evasive or resistant. We know from experience that's just not the case. Let's think about it and look at your own life. How many of you have moved in the last 2 years? Has a family member moved in the past 2 years? Have you gone cell only? Have you changed your cell number? As things change in life, maybe you don't remember to update the University of Michigan with your new cell number right away, but that certainly does not make you resistant, just like it does not make our families resistant. We usually know without a doubt when someone is resistant. Like we said in the beginning of this session, life happens and PSID is just not a priority for many of our families. They don't know they're lost, and most of them know that we will put in the effort to find them. Our experience on PSID is that we are persistent and we almost always find our families. Once we find them, they are often happy to hear from us and are ready to do the interview. That is proven by the high find rate and the strong response rate that PSID has enjoyed wave after wave. We are counting on you and your locating skills and your partnership with your team locator for continued success.